So yesterday, the breaking news was made public. President Donald Trump announced a historic ceasefire between Israel and Iran. However, albeit the wording of the Truth Social post confused some people. 12 hours here, 24 hours there. Can we put the Truth Social back up? I think it's very important. So the ceasefire was announced. And just to understand the profundity of all this, President Donald Trump was able to get no nukes for Iran, no troops on the ground, no nation building, no quagmire, no endless wars, and the kicker, no U.S. troops dead. No U.S. troops dead. So here you see the statement on screen. If you guys could resend it to me. Congratulations, everyone has been fully agreed that there is a ceasefire. So here's where people got a little confused. In approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions, for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire upon the 12th hour, and Israel will start the ceasefire upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war. Okay, so people were kind of confused about the timing. President Donald Trump worked very hard alongside J.D. Vance to get this deal done. He made the calls. He extended himself. And by the way, he also just put a lot of people in their place. President Donald Trump did not sleep last night. And now he's on a plane to NATO. I hope you understand that. He is now on a plane all the way. I think it's in Belgium. I think that's where the NATO meeting is. It's at The Hague? Yeah, God, it's in the Netherlands then. So he's flying all the way around the world to the Netherlands to now go deal with all the NATO crowd. And he was at the G7 last week dealing with that whole cabal. So you got the G7 last week, and now he's going to NATO to go worry about Russia and Ukraine. The guy is a machine. A machine. And he brokered a settlement between Iran and Israel, 12-day war. Too many people died. Israel acted as they saw fit. And there's a lot of questions that are going to be coming up about, what are the intelligence and all that. I'm not as interested in that. A lot of people are going to be asking about that in the coming days. But what I am interested in, what I think is very important, is you don't mess with President Trump. And President Trump was very mad this morning. Early. President Donald Trump had an early launch to NATO. I don't think I've ever heard him this mad, this public, as president to the press. Not even, think about this, during his 2 impeachments, through his indictments, through facing 700 years in federal prison, not even after he got shot did we see President Trump this mad. Where President Donald Trump went right to the sticks. And he said, these guys have been fighting so hard, they don't know what the F they are doing. And this was the cuss heard around the world. And that was, hey, everybody, Dad didn't get any sleep last night. And Dad is mad. So you better knock it off, Israel and Iran. Now. Stop it. I don't care who gets the last word. Bibi, you want to try to get the last word. Iran, you want to get the last word. Enough. Dad is mad. Stop being children. Stop posturing. I am beyond ticked at both of you guys. And yes, he said that to Israel as well, equally with Iran, because Israel was playing a little games with, just kind of the timing and all that. No. And Trump said, I have done everything I possibly could do. We flew B-2 bombers from Missouri around the world to drop bunker busters to make sure a nuclear program did not exist for our own self-interest, and also make sure that you guys do not have a nuke dropped on you. Israel just started unloading huge strikes on Iran, like emptying the clip, and you could tell that was not exactly what President Trump heard when he was negotiating the ceasefire. And boy, Dad was ticked. And this is Trump at his best. This is Trump shows he's not owned by anybody. He's not controlled by anybody. He's not manipulated by anybody. This is all about, wait a second, no. Enough. You two little kids are fighting across each other. I'm not getting dog walked by anybody. This thing is over. If it's all about who's going to get the last word, this will be a ceasefire that will take 9 months to get done. Oh, Iran gets the last word, and they launch another 3 missiles, and then Israel gets the last word. Here's cut 403. President Donald Trump on no sleep, on his way to NATO, after the G7, trying to pass the big, beautiful bill. Democrats are calling for his impeachment. He's settling what is now one of the most remarkable peace deals we've seen, an absolute masterclass. By the way, in addition to the India-Pakistan war that he solved and got no credit for, And he said, enough. And boy, do I love this Trump. Play cut 403.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Okay, so I usually don't like using swear words or cussing. I 100% agree with this. There's nothing that he could have said on some phone call to Bibi or Iran that would have been as powerful as right on the sticks at 6:30 in the morning, the F-bomb was heard around the world. President Donald Trump was calling the shots, and all of a sudden you see that there's this major payload being dropped, and he's like, enough. And I don't want to hear from all the clamoring class of people online yammering, oh, Trump is controlled by a foreign power. Cut it out. President Trump's America first. He saw the nuclear program in Iran as a threat to America. He's been consistent about that for 20 years. For 20 years, President Trump has said no nukes for Iran. I know it might get you clicks. It might get you attention. Oh, you know, Trump is controlled by this. No. And President Trump will not being put up with being embarrassed. And he was not embarrassed. But it was getting in the direction that a foreign power was trying to embarrass him. And look, Israel did suffer an awful bombing last night, and our sympathies to them, a direct hit. But a ceasefire is a ceasefire. This thing will never end. It'll never end if you just tit for tat and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's never going to end. And somebody eventually has to say, peace is the prize. This is why wars are hard to end. You think this one's hard to end? Russia, Ukraine. Who's going to get the last missile? Well, we're going to send another drone strike, or we're going to send another missile strike. And that's why it takes an alpha, it takes a leader, it takes someone with the stones and the cojones and the chutzpah and the spine to come in and just throw it down. And that's Donald Trump. With moral clarity, by the way. No nukes for Iran. We're on Western civilization's team. But Commander-in-Chief, I'm not going to oversee a 12-year war. I'm not going to oversee a year-and-a-half war. We're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. Enough. And you know what's so amazing? As soon as he dropped the F-bomb, all the fighting stopped. You know, I get alerts here on my phone of all the air alerts. Anytime there's an air alert in Israel, there's a Telegram channel, Israel Defense Forces. And so every time that there's an air siren, and last night it was every couple minutes. By the way, there was a big debate of whether or not Iran was in violation of the ceasefire. And it was like, well, they launched the missiles technically before the ceasefire, but they're going to land after the ceasefire. I said, what is this, the NBA? Like, well, the ball left his hand, and then it still will count. It's like this NHL or NBA rules. Like, what are the rules of the ceasefire? It's like, well, as long as it leaves its hand, then eventually it can. Okay, it's just the dumbest stuff that was being argued on Twitter. Well, is this the NHL where the puck needs to be into the net by the time of regulation ending? Stop it. Here's what's important. Is President Trump runs the world. And has that not been on full display? And you better believe that the Chinese Communist Party is keeping tabs of all this. They say, whoa. You think Xi Jinping wants to get an F-bomb heard around the world? And the full military is at his disposal. Taking out Iran's nuclear program, incredibly important. A secondary of importance is now you saw that President Donald Trump, he is putting on a masterclass and he is calling shots. And our enemies better be taking notes because Dad is home.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.